Hey there, it's your girl King Corla, and today I want to talk about how you can get to your dreams doing baby steps, and let's get right into it. So first of all, it's important to know that successful people have habits that work for them, and less successful people have usually bad habits that keep them away from being productive. So it's all a question like, how do you get there? So first of all, it's important to know what your goal is, and you need to be very specific with that one. It's just like J. Cole once said, it's like some people say, oh, their goal is to play in the NBA, but you need to be so specific because there are people playing in the NBA that never been on court playing, they were just like sitting on the side. So it's like, they're still in the NBA, so you need to be very specific so you can work towards that specific goal that you have. So I wrote down my goals on this paper and I'm going through it with you. I want to share it so you can kind of do the same with your goals, because a lot of people, they are not specific enough. They just say like, oh, I want to be rich because I think being rich would make me happy because right now I don't have money. So they make money their happiness, but as you get more, you won't feel happier. So it's very important to write down, why do you want to have that much money? Do you want to travel somewhere? Like maybe you can already do that without, having millions of dollars because you can already travel before that. I also have another video planned on how you can travel on a budget. Let's go through my goals that I have listed down. So as my biggest goal, I wrote down that I would like to have my own school system that incorporates more specifically on the needs of the student and on their personal development and making it easier for them to find themselves and get the most out of themselves. So this is my ultimate goal, and I broke it down to my goal in 10 years is to be financially free, meaning I want to make $2,000 to $3,000 a month of dividends and passive income in total. How do I get there? I broke it down again to my 5-year goal of starting my startup and having my YouTube being monetized and also finishing up my school degree. And my 1-year goal is that I will go back to New York for 1 to 3 months. And my 6-month goal is to monetize on YouTube, which is very ambitious, but I'm really confident if I get better at editing and the stuff that I'm providing that I will get there. And then my 1-month goal for the end of November was to have 100 followers on YouTube and to pay off my debt. Let's get more into it. After you wrote down your goal, your biggest goal, and then break it down into smaller goals that you can achieve, after breaking it down, make it as easy as possible. If you say, oh, I'm not drinking enough water a day, the easiest way you're going to drink more water is if you make it very obvious and put it in every room that you go to. So at home, if you have the water in your kitchen, if you have it right next to your bed, if you're exposed to it all the time, then it's way easier to drink more. And it's the same thing by removing bad habits. It's making it harder to reach. That's why a lot of people say if you get distracted easily by your phone and you want to put it in Do Not Disturb and put it in a different room, you need to go, downstairs or in a different room. It's way easier to stay focused. Another thing that's very important is that you need to define a specific time of the day that you're going to do your new thing. For example, the thing that I did with doing my bed every morning is I set myself, as soon as my alarm goes off, I'm getting ready in the bathroom, I'm coming back and I'm making my bed, and then I'm getting on my phone. Already, as soon as I wake up, I know what to do. And that's really important that you're saying oh, I'm going to do this last thing before I go to bed. I'm going to read something for 10 minutes. And it can be anything that you set yourself to. For example, when it comes to waking up earlier, it's very important to make very small steps that are achievable, because if you usually wake up at 9 a.m. and now you want to wake up at 5 a.m., it's a 4-hour difference. That will mean you need to go to bed sooner, so many things. So it's too much to change it up 4 hours. That's a whole different time zone. It's important that you do it very small. When you put kids into a timeout, you can't put them in timeout for 4 hours. So you need to make it really small. They used to tell me it's the amount of years they are, the amount of minutes they can get. So if you're 5 years old, it's 5-minute timeout. And it's a very short time, but for a kid, it's a long time. So if you're starting out with something, you need to break it down as small as possible. And that's the same thing for learning a language. You maybe start with like single words, and then you're building your way up to speaking sentences and having conversations and being able to understand and learning the letters first or something. That like you need to see like the smallest thing that you can do. If you say like, oh, I want to exercise more, then put like your whole outfit right next to your bed, so when you wake up you see it, you're exposed to it, and then you're immediately going for a walk. And you start so small, you're saying, okay, I'll make a timer, 5 minutes, I'm just going on a walk, and that's it. The more you get into that, or if you're saying like, oh, I'm going to the gym, I hate going to the gym, and then you go there and you're like, okay, I'll just stay for 5 minutes, and then you're leaving. And the more often you're going to do that, you're going to be like, okay, I'll stay 10 minutes, I'll stay 20 minutes, I stay 30 minutes. And it's going to go up, but it's important to make it slowly and steady, so you're actually keep on repeating it, because the most important thing is like repetition. That's like so important. It doesn't matter how long you're doing something, it matters in the long run how often you repeat doing it, because that way it's going to get a habit, and habits are crucial to being more successful, because discipline is just starting the new thing, the habit. As soon as it's a habit, it's not discipline anymore, because you're so used to it and you're automatically going to do it. First time that I went to the gym, and I always had to put like the weight to like the lightest weight, and you know, people that worked out before me were like the heaviest weight. It just intimidated me a lot of the time, and I was like, oh, I feel like embarrassed to start here. But the gym that I was working out at had like so many different kinds of people there. They had like old people, they had like bodybuilder there, but they also had people like me that would just start out. And I was like, I don't need to compare myself, and you should not compare yourself to someone that's like extremely successful. Like you should not compare yourself to Steve Jobs, because even Steve Jobs started out working in some garage and, you know, trying things out while other people were calling him crazy for doing that. So it's like, don't discourage yourself. Try to write down as small as possible. Try to wake up, I don't know, 5 minutes before you would usually wake up. And then those 5 minutes that you have in addition, just sit down and try to meditate. Focus on breathing, because I feel like most of the time we're thinking about so many things. It's important to also take the time to just be. You can do like guided meditations if you struggle because you're always thinking. Like breathing is so important. I guess I will do another video on that too, because it has so much impact on how stressed you feel. And when you do that first thing in the morning, to just take 5 minutes for yourself, just sit there and close your eyes and breathe. And that might make you feel so excited that you're excited to get up 5 minutes earlier. And then you're going to get up 7 minutes earlier, and 10 minutes, and 15 minutes, and 30 minutes. And then you will have more and more time, and that's the perfect way to start out your day and set out the energy for the rest of the day. So it's important to not underestimate a small change having a big impact. It's kind of like a snowball. If you roll it down a mountain full of snow, like it's going to get bigger and bigger the further it gets down, but we don't see the progress in the beginning. And that's the thing, like we need to, that's another thing that's very important, is those baby steps, like you need to celebrate them like they're like a big goal. Like sometimes we really need to take the time to look back on our life and see, oh, we accomplished so many things that we don't give ourselves credit for, because as soon as we reach it, it's just like a normal state. Like there was a time when I had my first driver's lesson and I was so overwhelmed, and I was like, I will never be able to drive because there are so many things that I need to think and look at, and now it's like so natural for me to drive. I'm like, how was there a time that I was terrified of driving? And that's with so many things. Like in the beginning, stuff is like scary and it feels impossible, but we just need to work on our craft and move as we go and start making YouTube videos. That's what we always wanted to do. And then the more videos we're going to put out there, the more we are able to see like, okay, that's something that's working that people want to see, and that's something that's not working because it's not relevant to people. And that's okay too. Like making mistakes should not be something negative. And that's really important, that you need to remind yourself and celebrate those small steps. And that's why it's important to break down those big goals into more achievable goals. Because if I work every day and like, I'm trying to be financially free, it's like so far away that you need to break it down so you're able to celebrate each small success. And you can, you know, celebrate it in whichever way you want to, with friends, by yourself, being proud of yourself, doing like journaling where you write it down like, oh, I achieved this today, I'm feeling good. And then like a couple days later, you might read through it and you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Like a year from now, I thought where I am today is impossible. There were times where I was like, okay, I will never be able to get to the States because it seems so impossible with all the visa requirements and stuff like that. And I was working full time and I needed 200 hours of childcare hours, and I made it. And it was not impossible at all. Like you just need to know what you want to achieve. And then if you put it in your head, like every time, like, oh, you're working to get here, it's going to motivate you and it's going to give you the energy to do all these things. But you need to start very small itty bitty bites. Break down your big goals into smaller goals. And this can take some time to really figure out what the deeper meaning is of what you want out of your life. Because it's so much deeper than saying, I want to be rich or I want to be financially free or independent. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!